Hi everyone, welcome to or back to my booktube channel, and welcome to our first reading wrap-up of the year. My monthly goal is to read 8 books each month, and that is exactly what I did, so let's just get right into it. Starting off first with a book I actually started in 2023. We have A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. I did annotate this, and I had so much fun doing so. I loved this. I remember hearing some critiques about this when it first came out because everyone was so excited for it after A Ballad of Never After. And I don't know if it's necessarily because I heard those critiques, so I was going in with lower expectations. Don't get me wrong, it was definitely slow in the beginning and I didn't like that first plot line that we had, but I was just so happy to be back in this world, like the fairy tale vibes, and I loved the characters, and I really loved this. So yeah, I started off this year with a great book. I gave this 4.25 stars. Would highly recommend this series if you haven't picked it up already. Okay, and then next up, I actually read my first 5-star of the year, and that is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. This was my second Abby Jimenez book, so I knew I already liked her writing, but these characters, Jacob and Brianna, like I haven't forgotten about them since I read this. And then right away after finishing, I wanted to start it over, and that's how I knew it was a 5-star. I actually have a reading vlog, I think, with both of these books, and I remember talking more in depth about this one, so I would highly recommend you going to watch that. I can just already tell it's one of like my 2024 favorites, and I'll probably reread this to annotate it in the future. If you don't know what this is, it is a romance book, and there's kind of a lot of different plots in this, but essentially, like the gist of it is that they're both doctors and he's new to the hospital and not a lot of people like him. He's kind of get off on the wrong foot, unfortunately, and he has anxiety, so I loved that representation. I thought they did a great job with that. But he ends up writing her letters, that's why it's called Yours Truly. He's also her brother's kidney donor. Honestly, it's a lot. It's pretty random and, you know, not something that you would just stumble upon in real life, but it's fiction and I love it. Next up, I finished Atomic Habits by James Clear. This was a reread for me. I don't really have much to say about this. Honestly, I'm really glad I read it for a second time because I picked up on things I wouldn't have, and I also annotated it, which helped. But yeah, I just felt like this was a good book to start 2024 off with. Next up, we have The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. This was my first Mariana Zapata book, and unfortunately I was a little bit disappointed. It was still good. I would still recommend this. Like, I'm going to keep it on my shelves. You know, like, it's not a bad book, but it's just not like a romance that's gonna stick with me. I gave it 3.5 stars. It was so long for like what all happened in this. I love a slow burn, okay? But like the guy in this, he wasn't just a grumpy guy. He was kind of mean, and I didn't really see his grumpiness like slowly go away and we learned that like he was getting better. It kind of just was random and happened. I don't know. I personally did not love Aiden in this, but yeah, 3.5 stars. Okay, and then we have Archer's Voice. I want to like wrap this book in a hug and like sleep with it. Does that make sense? I don't know. This was just like a very sweet, wholesome romance. The guy in this, he's just so sweet, Archer. This was honestly giving Nicholas Sparks vibes at first. I don't know necessarily if it was because of like the trauma they had or what, but yeah, I was smiling through a lot of this book. I also cried. It was just very sweet. This was a 4.25, would highly recommend. All right, and then I read 2 more books of the Vampire Academy series. I actually ended the month off with this book. There's another one though. I'm just gonna talk about these at the same time. I'm genuinely skimming this because I don't really remember what happened. Like, it's hard to differentiate what happened to both. I remember this one more because I did not love this. I didn't love the plot in this. This one was definitely better. Still not my favorite. My favorite was the second book, but this ended off with a huge like cliffhanger, and that's why I had to read this one. But yeah, these weren't like crazy good, not outstanding. I think they're both in like the 3 or 4 range. And my battery's flashing, so let me fix that. And then last up, a book that literally like ripped my heart out, stomped on it, kind of gave it some love, and then stomped on it some more, and then gave it some more love, and like just over and over and over again. You guessed it, Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home. This was also a book I have been reading since 2023. I don't know why it took me so long to read it. I think partly because I annotated it, and like I went crazy with these annotations. Like I wrote on a lot of pages, and then also because I just couldn't stop crying when reading this book, and I needed a break. So with that being said, it is 5 stars. It is so good, but I'm serious, I do not recommend this. Like I do, but I don't. So as much pain as it caused, I genuinely loved this. This is by far my favorite book in the series so far. I'm kind of hoping the next book, Daisy Hates 2, like takes that place, because obviously I want each book I read to be better than the last. But yes, I will have to do so quickly because the next Magnolia Parks book and the last comes out in February, so I need to get on that. But anyways, those are the 8 books I read in the month of January. I feel like it was a pretty good reading month. I definitely struggled for some reason while reading this month. I feel like it started in December and it honestly has not left. So hopefully that changes this next month, but we will see. Please let me know if you've read any of these books and what your thoughts and opinions were, because I would love to chat about them. And yeah, I just hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you all in the next one. So have a great day, guys.